For any modern market economy, the issue of investment is undoubtedly of great importance. Investment is an indicator of the attractiveness of any economy, its competitiveness in the global market. The general desire to invest in a particular economy depends on how favorable it is. The investment climate is a general concept for a country that strives for its development within the framework of the global economy. The collapse of the Soviet Union affected the lives of millions of people and raised a number of difficult questions for the entire states. The leaders of the new republics understood that state planning in a free market was a dead-end solution. Decisions on the beginning of reforms needed to be made quickly, but their outcome was difficult to predict for the apparatus, whose personnel had experience only in the planned economy. And therefore, it is easy to understand the leaders of Belarus, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan, who preferred to keep their previous model. The transition from the planned socialist model into modern market relations could not be easy. In Kazakhstan, the first president, Nursultan Nazarbayev, took the responsibility to formulate a strategic course for market reforms. The new economic reality has become a real test not only for the authorities, but also for the population. But compared to other post-Soviet republics, Kazakhstan has quickly passed a difficult stage of its development. By 2000, the country had achieved an impressive growth rate of 9.8%. In less than 2 decades, Kazakhstan has entered the group of countries with an above-average income. The introduction of a market economy also opened up wide opportunities, including access to external financing. It was foreign direct investment that was to become one of the driving forces of the economic development of independent Kazakhstan. In 1992, the first president, Nursultan Nazarbayev, designated attraction and effective use of foreign investment as one of the strategic goals in the field of economy. It is important to note that Elbasi has always been impressed by the experience of the development of the so-called Asian Tigers, a group of countries whose rapid economic growth was largely due to foreign direct investment. Their experience, in a sense, was seen as a model for successful modernization and economic reform in the eastern states. Although compared to them, Kazakhstan did not have such competitive advantages as direct access to the world ocean, population concentration, or labor resources, our country had its own undeniable advantages, namely the presence of huge reserves of energy resources. Back in Soviet times, the Republic actively developed the sphere of mineral extraction, but the USSR was not able to use the entire resource potential of Kazakhstan. On the one hand, this was due to a lack of proprietary technologies, while on the other, the complex process of extracting black gold in the Caspian Sea required significant financial resources. Since gaining independence, Kazakhstan has negotiated a contract with one of the world's leading energy companies. This was of strategic importance for the state in the context of long-term economic prospects. The qualitative growth of oil production was considered an important source of additional budget revenues in the context of economic difficulties. In addition, the agreement with the American giant Chevron was supposed to significantly reduce the investment risks of the young republic, paving the way for other global companies interested in investing in the Kazakh economy. But as history shows, the availability of oil resources is not enough for development. Sometimes thoughtless decisions and ineffective policies of the authorities can lead to serious problems in the oil sector. Therefore, in difficult negotiations with Chevron, the personal qualities of Nursultan Nazarbayev came to the fore. It was the charisma and persuasiveness of the first president of Kazakhstan that contributed to a successful result. In 1993, the long-awaited contract of the century was signed for the development of the Tengiz field, one of the largest in the world. As expected, many other international investors followed Chevron to the Republic. In 1998, by the decree of the leader of the nation, the Council of Foreign Investors was established, with the status of an advisory body under the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan. It was at such meetings, which are held annually, that Nursultan Nazarbayev discussed the current situation, future projects, problems of investors, and other topical issues. This contributed to the strengthening of mutual trust between the parties. Nowadays, it is safe to say that Kazakhstan has significantly succeeded in attracting foreign direct investment. In Central Asia, no one enjoys more trust from international institutions than Kazakhstan, and such funds are not invested in other countries of the region. From 1993 to 2002 alone, $21 billion were invested in the Republic, which was 1/3 of the total volume of foreign investments in the CIS countries. The inflow of foreign money was especially important during that difficult period, when the Republic was carrying out deep reforms and engaged in state building. In the future, the indicators of foreign direct investment only increased. Over the years of independence, about $350 billion has been invested in the country's economy. In 2018, the share of foreign direct investment in the structure of the total GDP of the Republic was 14.5%. It is important to note that if at the initial stage the majority of investments were directed to the extractive sector, then over time the dynamics began to change. By 2019, $3.5 billion was raised in the manufacturing industry, $3 billion in trade, $1.1 billion in transportation and warehousing, and more than $1 billion in financial and insurance activities. This is a positive indication of the strengthening of the country's economic diversification. Thus, according to the World Bank's Doing Business Index, Kazakhstan ranked high, 25th out of 190 countries in 2020. Objectively speaking, it would be much more difficult for Kazakhstan to achieve today's economic success without the factor of foreign investment. This demonstrates the strategic correctness of the decisions made by Nursultan Nazarbayev in the early 90s of the last century.